All right, good morning, everybody. Yes, this is my background. There is no nobility in poverty. Doing our weekly or daily, rather, pre-market newsletter a little early this morning, but I decided I would take the time to do it in video form, as it is Monday and we are preparing for a new week. And so, may make this a regular thing where at the start of every week I do a video instead because there's more to talk about. We'll see. Let me know what you think. But let's go ahead and look. So obviously, if you were trading, we had a massive expansion of range on Friday, especially in the Nasdaq down here. I mean, just a very large breakout that really did not stop the whole day. I mean, it was just little consolidations, boom, higher, little consolidation, higher. I mean, it was a really great day for trading. But where does this leave us in the grand context of things? So let's go and look at the weekly chart as we start today. And I believe I said Monday earlier. It's actually Tuesday. I forgot about Memorial Day. Of course, the markets were closed. Either way, the start of a new week for Tuesday, May 30th. So obviously, we have the NASDAQ really leading the markets. Now we have this debt ceiling news that they've come to a conclusion, which is going to be the catalyst that the algorithms that control the market use to drive it higher. Regardless of what you believe about what drives the markets, there's usually a catalyst, but actually what delivers the price is going to be the algorithms on an intraday basis. So they're going to use this catalyst to deliver price higher. Now, where can we go from here? Because if we look at, on an intraday chart, this is our overnight on the ES, right? Basically gapped up, came down and filled the new week opening gap here, and we are continuing and we're holding. And actually on the NASDAQ, we even hit a new high in the overnight session. Gap up, come down, fill the gap. Actually, I don't know if NASDAQ even filled it completely. Yeah, it did. Yep, NASDAQ filled the gap. So there's no gaps to fill in terms of the overnight, and all the way to a new high on the NASDAQ already. So where does this leave us for some bigger targets? Because sometimes when the market is rallying like this, it can be hard to determine, where the heck are we going to go from here, right? So on the ES weekly chart, we have this level up here, right? From back here. So around 42.80 we could potentially be heading to on the ES, with room above that to take out buy side liquidity up in the 4300s, 4320s. So 42.80 to 4320 would be the area that I would be marking off on my charts here for a potential target area this week in the ES. Now in the NASDAQ, clearly much stronger. We have this fair value gap here on the weekly chart. Alright. So that could take us all the way up to around 14,800. 14,860, with room to take out buy side liquidity above that into the 15,000s, and you even have this. Well, that's not really a gap actually. So I would say yes, above these wicks, 15,300 would be the next level above that. So 14,000. So right now we're entering into the fill the gap for around 14,500 to 14,800. So these are pretty large ranges because we're on the weekly chart, and we'll have to look to see what we do intraday, right? But the reason I'm doing this is just to kind of show you some areas to target above us, so that you're not just, because it is very strong right now. The market is clearly showing an expansion of range to the upside. But the mistake traders can make is just going long with no idea of where it could potentially stop. Where are our potential targets? So that's what we are pointing out now, is our potential targets to look for in the coming week. And now for today's trading session, again, we're looking very strong in the pre-market. I would just say, for simple mechanics of, how much do we retrace into Friday's range, right? If we go back into Friday's range, then we have some consolidation balance to do. If we erase Friday's range, that's the most bearish scenario. It doesn't look like that is going to happen, but you never know what could happen. And then, because essentially on a daily candle, it would be a pullback, right? If this is Friday's range, if we come back into it, it could pull back in there and still be very bullish. So how much do we find acceptance into Friday's range would be the question I ask myself going into today's trading. If we are going to hold above this overnight low, then that is the most bullish scenario. In which case, traders should really just be buying pullbacks and monitoring the internals over here for continuation and targeting those longer term levels, right? So targeting first on the ES, I would target this gap high, this opening high from the 6 p.m. open, and then monitor for the 4250s. For NASDAQ, we've already made a new high, so I would really again just be monitoring those longer term ranges to fill this gap all the way to 800. All right, so that's basically what I'm thinking going into today's session, is monitoring the strength above these overnight lows, buying pullbacks, and looking for those larger targets. All right, so this is Dalton Greatest with Greatest Capital, and I think you can actually reply to the emails in the newsletter. If you can't reply to the emails, you should be able to at least comment on Substack, some way to leave me some feedback, and just let me know what you think. Even questions, comments. Would love to interact with you there. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow.